Okay, should be good. Okay. Today is July 9th. Few big goals today. I need to get the flute showing up when I use the item. Big one is I want to add the bow to the game. Which means I need to include the pick upable one and the arrow, have it shoot out arrows that detect players and enemies. In my head, I think they should all be pretty. Is that picking up the fan? But right. In my head, it should be pretty easy because a lot of the functionality was implemented with the sword. So I think, I mean, in my head, it makes sense that the bow should be relatively similar. I think just figuring out how the velocity of the arrows works out and how to get that set up right, how long they should last, that kind of thing. I think it should be very similar. So I'm going to start with the bow because it's what I'm most interested in. So I have the bow as a static body, vision shape, and the sprite. Let's have the sprite. Load. Can't load, can I? Have it? Yeah, I can't load. I have to do it the other way. And just spend a minute. I've done this. Huh. And just try to toss it in there, right? Get the region. Grab my incredibly beautiful bow. All right, look at that. Fancy bow. Now, collision shape. In the past, I've just been making everything rectangles. But now that I have the freeform movement, I'm wondering it might be a little smarter to kind of experiment with different shapes. I think that'll work. Now I can change it later. Okay, so the bow, the sprite 2D. This is for the. Did I? Blue. I did. I did inherit it. Do I need to do it? I think I screwed up actually. Let's don't save that. Start fresh. I think I need to inherit from my interactable script or my interactable scene. Yeah. New inheritable scene. And it has all that in place. Try to do. Gotta be smart here. Be consistent. Edit the region. Going to get our handy dandy bow again. And then the collision shape, let's experiment with kind of. I guess if I make changes to this, doesn't it change Does it? No. Thought it would, but it doesn't. Just for the sake of it, I'm going to leave it for now. Okay. A to D. I can collect it, queue freeze it, add it to the group path blockers, which I think is how I have collision set up for objects, if I'm not mistaken. Collect, and I enter it, I leave it, and I action on it. Okay. And right out of the bag, that should change us to bow. That should separate. So save this in scenes. Run it for test. So start cleaning up my objects a little better. Sorry, just put the bar right there. I should, if I'm not mistaken. One connection, path blockers. Interesting. I should work out of the gate where I can just pick it up and. Doesn't. Fix them in the area. Just the position is in a weird position. Might need to update my. Doesn't work. It works. Oh, so because I don't have the signals, I should. Wait, I think I know what it is. I need to, yeah. I need to give it the resource for the item pickup. Which means I need to create a new resource. Interesting. I haven't created a new resource in a while. Resource. I have forgotten how to do this. A new resource. We will call it bow. All right, and then bow. Need to give the inventory item script. All right, perfect. Now I give it the inventory source. And now I cannot. New inventory item. There we go. That's how I do it. Oh. A simple bow. Simple bow crafted from the simple bow crafted from an ancient tree. And I need to pass in two. Simple bow crafted from an ancient tree. Item stackable? No. Item equipable? Yes. Behavior method. I think I have the knowledge to use. Oh, I think was. Oops. Well, that'll be structured. Use bow, which doesn't exist yet. We'll create that. Let me just check sword, make sure. Yeah, use sword. And flute should be use flute. Okay. I do. Okay. Now, I believe it would work. Because it has a resource attached to it that I can collect. Cool, that's cool that the script worked just fine too. I like that. Cool. Okay, so now the fun part. I have a script, inventory item, on use. And then you go to item behavior script view. And function. I call these static. I feel like there's right. That's fine. Static function use O. And pass in user. What did you do? Right. It still work. The reason I do that is because user because we're now going to allow enemies to use the sword as well, which they do. They need to do the same here. Some of the code will be similar. We need the direction. Might be smart to offload that into a different function, like a helper function. And these, I feel like I'm getting static functions wrong here. That's okay. I might try and offload this. I might offload this into a helper function. Helper function? Function get user direction. Get user direction. And this is going to return vector, vector 2. Return to vector 2. Okay. We need to pass in the user. So it needs a user. It'll be a character body 2D. And what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this line of code. I think this is all we really want to use. Because our direction to I don't know actually, because a lot of this looks like because this is going to give us a direction. This is going to determine whether or not just to play the enemy using it. For that. Why do I do this up here? I need to test something real quick. Yeah, not all code path return a value. Alright, we'll check in a second. I think all these are okay up here, right? I guess probably better to put them. They need to be put before this, it looks like. Because I need to fix that. This is what, magic code, magic variables for people. I need to be explicit, I think. This is angled the same way, so the degrees will be the same. More magic code I gotta fix. Magic numbers. I think that's what they're called. Magic numbers. I think I'm gonna get it just working. Then figure out how I can reuse it. Clean it up so it. I'll put as much of the reusable stuff in a helper function that it just pulls from. The use functions will be a lot cleaner. I think the use function, they'll get the, so we got get user direction. And get user direction, it will determine whether it is determine whether the user is player or enemy. And maybe I keep this in the use sword function. I'm not sure what would be cleaner. I guess since it's both use functions, I'll copy this code. I might as well just put it all in the help function. All right, I think I'm just gonna think what I can do. I'm gonna cut all this, paste it here. All right. All this right here. User direction is going to return vector 2. So we need to return the direction, sword swing. Preload it first. That's step 1. I think we're okay in stand cheating it. And then here is where we need to get user direction. And we need to pass it user. And get user direction. Set the closing. Is it because I don't? Static. I feel like there's something wrong with it. All right. This doesn't have a direction vector. It doesn't care. It shouldn't care what it is. I think if I draw everything the same way, it wouldn't matter what the object is. It should all orient right. The direction vector isn't clear on the current scope, so we need to. This is going to return that direction vector, so we need to see the variable here. direction vector equals variable direction vector will be vector 2. Alright, is that happy? Happy. Our direction vector which one level position to sword spawn? Let me sword cycle is not declared. Brain's getting jumbled up. I got the back up. I'm just gonna do it in a way that makes most sense to me. So we're going to first reload. Before we can do that, we need to new scene. I believe is just area 2D. Called fire. Here's my naming conventions suck. Collision shape, a timer, and a spread. I kind of copy the same thing. So it's going to have a. So the bow won't get a collision shape. It's the arrows that will be collision shapes. It's going to need a timer. We're going to call this lifetime. Things capitalized in a Pascal case. So fire. Lifetime. Lifetime. Right. That's sprites. We will give it a new atlas texture. We'll rank in our tile set. There. Edit region, we're going to give it. Oh. Oops. No, 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 no. Not this way. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try changing it to a no duty. I don't think because it's gonna be the arrows that will need to have colliders and stuff on them. I don't think the bow will need any sort of collider on them. So that should be fine. Lifetime. Be sure I have my sword is 0.1. Just leave it that. Also, having the sword. There's my timer set up on here. 0.1, one shot, and auto start. Okay. So let's save this. Not there. We'll save this in scenes. Go fire. On timeout. Script, attach script, go fire. On timeout. We'll just call Q3. Yep. I did it here. I'm gonna leave everything else blank for now because it's gonna be the arrows that handle everything. So from the bow fire, I'm going to spawn arrows. Hopefully that makes some sort of sense. Okay. Let's go back to item behaviors. Never use bow, so let's start doing this. Var direction vector. The vector 2. We need to preload our scene. So fire equals reload. Pass in C. Instantiate. So fire dot. No, we don't instantiate. No, but that makes sense. When we preload this, it just has a create a new variable. Bow spawn variable. So fire equals bow instantiate. Okay. Now we need to handle like the directions and all that. So we need to be smart about this. What is okay? I need to figure out what sword swing dot global position equals sword spawn pause is a vector 2. It needs to return a vector 2. So first, we're going to determine var Direction. Third. No, flip that kindergarten. I will make you kindergarten. Turn. Spawn pods. Our spawn. Vector. Here are the errors. Okay, so first we determine whether it's a player or an enemy. Hit the reference. If it's an enemy. The player reference if it's an enemy. Direction vector equals player division minus user. Grab that. Sword swing is so we need to pass in the item. The problem is we need to pass it in the user to determine this section. We also need to pass it in, I think, yeah, this, the object. Happens here, so I can just pass it in. Each rejection is going to take in a user. Also going to take in the item. Pass it in a scene. But pass in. What would be the explicit way to do that? No. Vaccine. Is that right? Okay. And here we can play sword swing with item. Tool. A little more weapon. The food's not really weapon. 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 Yeah, and it likes that. That's good news. So I gave it everything after the else. So item dot direction equals direction vector. Item dot direction equals item weapon. Weapon dot direction equals direction vector. Let me call this real quick. Here we're gonna pass in weapon. Not sword spawn pause. Hold on. Sword swing dot direction equals direction vector. Do I have that? Weapon dot direction. That's what I instantiate. Weapon spawn pause equals. And this right here is going to be weapon dot global position equals weapon underscore spawn pause. Turn weapon spawn pause. Right? Okay. Then in theory, I'm going to leave this one alone. I'm going to set up bow to what do you call it here? Get no. Yeah, I can't have this in there. I need to return weapon spawn pause. This line of code I need And then I can call variable go spawn on equals get user direction, and I pass in the user, and I pass in go fire. Then I can go go fire dot position equals go. Okay, now I need to do some hacky thing. Player. I have to fix this pretty quick. Can't go for too long. I'm going to create a new action called equip bow. How do I scroll? 3. Okay. Close. Need to go into the player if it's not clean. Fine. Equip bow. If player inventory. Bow. Equipped item. Oh, smart. That should. It is. Cool. If it crashes when I hear and use it. That's cool. Are we? Get user direction. Doesn't like the right type for which one? Node 2D. Go spawn. Need to pass it to the actual preloaded scene, not the instantiated one, I guess. Is that right? Try sort of still works. Or it still works. Okay, got a little farther down the list. Invalid assignment of property key, rotation of property flow. I think all the way down here. Not weird. With value type flow on a base object. Packed scene. I can't make rotations on a packed scene. Is that what it's saying? On type float. Here, what am I doing? I'm so it's this. Can I oh, instance weapon. And then if I replace, so instead of applying it, hold on, smarter option then. Let's just change this to a, what type is that? What is the type? The node? It depends on the root inside the scene. What would be the way to do it then? Because it changes, I believe. I need to instance it within here. This bow is a node 2D, and this is an area 2D problems. I'm just going to instantiate it here. Weapon instance equals weapon dot instantiate. What are you there? Be explicit there. Like pick anything in. Instantiate use bow. Call the function, pass in fire. Here, weapon. Curious if it likes that. Let's find out. Nope. Close though. The last step. Weapon dot direction. Pass the instance scene. Loop swing is the instantiated scene. I passed that. That's the instantiated ghost spawn. Pass the instantiated scene into user direction. That should be working. as well. Frustrated. Let's do this. Do just gonna try this. What is it mad about? But the sword was just fine. I literally copied the code. There's no issues here. Sword swing instance. Hmm. Am I not applying? And two. Direction. Okay, let's see here. Restart. That's all right. So why does it work for here but not here? They're the exact same type. Sword swing, the instantiated scene. That direction has no problem touching, giving it that. Bow, I want to cut this. Direction vector 2, direction vector 2. What's up? It does. Okay, that's fine. Done. Variable direction equals vector 2. I'm applying the direction. And then if this works, I'll rename everything. There we go. On the right direction. That's okay. Okay. Getting a direction, it's spawning and just and deleting itself. Let's go back to the item behavior script. Now we're gonna we're gonna ruin everything. Add child. Get rid of. All I do is I pass the weapon, I return the weapon spawn pause. And then I think I can get rid of all of you. All of you. Since I did that, let's just, so I can be explicit, this is an area 2D. We're going to, after we instantiate it, we are going to variable the bow, it'll be bow spawn pause equals the user direction. We're going to pass in the user and the sword swing. This is going to equal bow spawn pause sword swing. We're going to rename this real quick. Bow fire C equals fire. Scene. Bow spawn pause equals the user direction. Sword swing. Bow fire. That. And here is where we. Is that happy? Let's find out. Yep. Look at that. Which means, since I have this fancy little helper function, should be able to do the same here, where just get rid of all this gobbledy, all this. No, any direction? No. Just preload it, I instantiate it. Variable sword pause equals direction. I pass in the user and I pass in the sword. Fix that. Sword swing position equals. And add this to the scene. And that should be happy. Cool. Camera's on. Okay. So now what we need to do is fix the direction for this. The bow does not rotate properly, which means I'm going to need to adjust this to pass in the correct degree path. Which means we can't have the magic numbers anymore, which is okay. So I can clean this up for the sword. Variable and so we do I'm afraid this might not work. Hmm. Guess I could do like a rotatable degrees. Actually, yes, 45.0. Was it 135? So it's horrifically unclean. And then what I could do is in the get user direction, I could um, possible rotations. Okay. I'm gonna try something random. 265 was the other. Um, this is gonna be disgusting. But we'll do. Um, oh, this is wrong. This is it's yucky, but storage should still work just fine. Yes. Close and rotate kind of weird at that. It's close actually. It needs to rotate it like in course members until it gets 0. 0 is the float. That conviction every time. Sounds right now. Maybe I just shouldn't even understand this. So scan the direction vector from the player. And where my mouse is at in the world, and then subtracting the position. And yeah, I'm just trying to normalize a little better. So turn it vector though. Absolute value of vector dot x. The x position is greater than the y position. The vector is right. Right, or just left. Section is right, we need to rotate it. So if it spawns like this, we need to rotate it. It would be 45. I don't. Rotation is right. So let me test the right. So does it need to? So maybe it needs to go negative 45. So it needs to go. Needs to rotate left. Yeah. Okay. Answer that. Right. Correct. So if it's right, do that. Otherwise, if it's left, we need to rotate it. What does it look like when we rotate it? We use it left now. Not right. Let's adjust this in game. Do a 180. 360. I think it changes actually. That sucks. I have to reload it. And 130. 265 is the. Yeah, 45. 45, 90. That's probably 135. 180. 60. Actually close. 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 30. Okay. We will tinker with that. I rotated that negative 45. That's going to put me at... I wanted to rotate that. It's sitting like this, and I need to rotate it. I need to go positive rotation. That's 45. Subtract 45. Okay. Try 315. $225. That's what I was really close to earlier. There we go. So we're left and right. Those need to be reversed. Direction is up. We need to rotate that whole... I might need to have 4 degrees. It's a silly problem to have. Oops. We flipped. It'll work. I'm curious if it'll fix. This is very dumb. That. I'll fix that. Now I can tinker with just to fit the degrees. I need to flip it. So if I were to do, just try something. 45.0 negative 25. Let's see how that works out. I need to flip it like 180. Actually, that'd probably be 225, wouldn't it? Yeah. Hold on. It just... No. That's not right. That's right. I bet that's right. Yep. So that works. I mean, it's certainly not clean. Not clean at all. There's gotta be a smarter way to do that. But boom, boom, boom. All the right directions. Pick up the sword. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Cool. We have that. Now we can start tinkering with the bow fire. This gives the direction. I set the direction in bow fire or in the item behavior. Does that? Does that? Go forward 225 and it does that. The problem with this function is that it assumes that weapon has a direction. It'd be fine. it'll have the direction. Bowfire will get the direction from the item behavior. So I should have like a... Okay, first, let's back a little bit. Let's do a new scene. Particles can check. Just in Area 2D, right? Yeah, I think in Area 2D will be Sith. Need a sprite. Need a collision shape. Called an arrow. It's gonna need a timer. Also call this lifetime. Collision shape. Now let's set up our sprite. Atlas texture. Drag in this. Edit region. Our glorious arrow. Ugly arrow, if I'm being honest. It's fine now. The arrow will just get the direction from the bow, so it should be okay. I don't have to worry about rotating it at all. I hope. I'm pretty wrong anyway. We will set up a shape. It's going to be a rectangle. And we're just going to have it set to that. Maybe that. Do that. Okay. Now we're going to need to attach a script. Arrow is going to have a lifetime. One shot. Auto start as soon as it spawns. It'll last, I don't know, 2 seconds. Give a chance to fly through the map before petering out. One timeout. You free. Simple enough. And going to need to... What if I do this in the ready function or not? The ready function, we need to variable arrow scene equals preload. We will get this all squared away. It's arrow scenes, Control Shift C. The quotes. All right, so preload the scene, and then we variable arrow instance equals arrow scene dot instantiate. So instance One second. Ugh. So on ready, soon as the arrow spawns, or the bow fire spawns, you preload the arrow, instantiate it. You need to give the arrow a direction vector. Variable direction vector 2. Should I think get bow to return a vector to return arrow instance direction get fire direction. And then I need to, we're also going to have a variable, I think velocity is actually built in. I think we can do real quick. But at export variable damage equals right. All right. It's the, I did it here. User.get tree, the current scene, the add child. So I get the direction from this. I need to add the child to the scene, which means I need to get the player instance. Just do player equals global dot get. Then it's going to be player dot get tree. Copy that bad boy. Here we go. Sorts went good. Add child arrow. If I'm not mistaken, that should work. It'll spawn the arrow at least. And after 2 seconds, the arrow should disappear. No, it doesn't. That's a what? I don't. I did the player add child, right? Add child arrows. As a sprite, right? Oh. To do ready And we made it. See if it's making it there. It is. Interesting. Deleted. Right. 1, 2, deleted. Okay. So it's getting there. Why isn't it? Because I don't have a position. I bet it's spawning at the top left of the map, huh? That's probably exactly what's happening. Okay. Go soon, crap. Sword swing. Let's go. We need to go to script, item behaviors. How did I get? Use bow. Ooh. Just bullshit. No, it's fine. Okay, that makes it should make it easy. Go fire. Arrow instance stop global position equals. What if I did I just well, that's the cleanest, but I should just set it at the same position as the bow. Oh. Sorry. Boom. Hey! It's not, the direction's not right. Not rotating at all. Arrow. Let's see. Option. Ready. Velocity equals 10 point. Oh, no, what? I thought velocity was built in. In velocity? Okay, that's fine. We have we need a process function, delta. We need a variable velocity equals variable velocity of type float. We'll just start with 10.0. I think we need to velocity means any direction. This is more speed. Thinking about that wrong. That shall be an export variable. Export variable speed. What? int equals variable velocity direction. Proper velocity vector 2 equal to vector 2 dot. And here we set velocity equal to minus a process function. We're going to have a velocity. Hey. All right, clearly speed's not a hassle. Let's do 100. Oh, I love that. Perfect. Boom, 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 boom. That's so bad. Alright, why is my direction screwy? Arrow instance dot direction equals okay. Um, it has a collision shape already. Pick the target. How do I do damage here? It's in group target. Somebody entered. There's a signal. On I screwed up. I screwed up. Hey, I need it to go damage. Call it here. Somebody take damage. Pass in, what do I pass in? I passed in damage and direction. Direction 4, that's for the knockback, I believe. So in theory, knockback should be applied as well. So that'd be nice working right out of the gate. Test this out. Yeah. Haha. Uh-oh. Nice instruction, take damage in base, tell my player. I need to check if it's in the right group. If body is in body is in group target, capital T. Okay. If body is in group target. Okay, that works. However, the difference here will be is once he takes damage, you need to Q for it. Q, because I want the arrow to be destroyed on him. That's so cool. And the arrows are ugly. I gotta fix that. My direction is wrong. The direction is not being applied to the arrows. I don't think at all. They're exact same direction. So that's not a problem, but I did this. This. Cool. I have to go.